Hello everyone, and welcome back to the third episode of Let's Play Caveman to Cosmos with me, Alpha Pi Omega, and the tribe of Byzantium. So our nation, nay, our tribe, as I was saying, is at the verge of a new scientific breakthrough, giving us technology called toolmaking. So I decided to start the episode here because I believe this will be one of the defining moments for us, as it was for all of humankind.
Man is a tool-using animal. Nowhere do you find him without tools. Without tools he is nothing. With tools he is all.
So I really like toolmaking because it's the first time where you actually see the dynamic buildings that Caveman to Cosmos brings to table and builds upon. Now, as you can see, the toolmaking is giving us four buildings. Nutcracking stone is just a basic one that gives you 1 extra food. Nothing special about that. Child labor crew, though, gives you 2 industrial production. But that one we can't really build yet because it requires quite a lot of things. And most of the time I actually don't manage to build it anywhere, even though it provides quite a hefty bonus with upcoming technologies. But I really want to speak about percussion instrument maker and stone tool maker. These two are one of the more useful buildings and one of the first dynamic buildings that you get. Stone tool maker starts giving you 1 industry production and 1 gold production after you research stone tool making. Or actually it's just tool making, right? Yeah, tool making. So after you research tool making, it just gives you this measly bonus and it provides you with 1 stone tool. But as you advance, or as we will advance through the ages, it's gonna get way better. So with composite tools, microwave, sharpening, flint knapping, we get extra 1 to production. With soft hammer percussion, scrapping, chopping, piercing, and carving, we get 1 extra to research. So that is awesome. And with spear making, axe making, atlatl making, and what was the last one? Obsidian weapons, you get 1 to gold. Once you reach ironworking, you even get 3 to culture. However, there are also malices that you get. With copper working, metal casting, bronze working, and lead working, we are actually going to lose a lot of production. So basically, this building is getting better and better, but once you reach a certain point in the game, it starts losing its value. So during some times, this is going to be the most important building we are going to construct in each one of our cities, but eventually it's going to turn more into a culture sort of research boosting thingy, and later on not even that. So I really like the fact that, the value of the buildings is changing as ages advance, and I really like that. Same thing is with percussion instrument maker, though that one is just giving you more and more as you go. So it starts with 1 gold and 1 culture and adds 2 extra culture with folk music, 3 extra with music notations, 4 extra with acoustics, 5 extra with military tradition, and so on and so on, so on. So it's really one of those buildings that will never, ever be useless. However, it requires storage pit or granary or modern granary to build, and it requires also prehistoric music, which I believe we don't have at this point, so we won't be able to get it. It's also obsolete with composites, which I believe will completely transform it into music factory. Okay, so then we'll have a different building there. So toolmaking, as I said, is going to be very important for us, and now let's look at the big picture. We're still very early in the game, as you can see. There's so many technologies ahead of us, but I think it's pretty clear right now where we want to go. Now, there's a number of things that I want to get, like the shelter building, which is going to give us additional bonuses. It's going to give us the childbirth hut and some more promotions, but before we go that way, we need to get oral tradition, because that's the next best thing after toolmaking. Oral tradition will give us number of buildings like creation myth, knowledge inheritance, storyteller, and so on, which will allow us to greatly boost our research and culture growth. So that is amazing. One thing that I actually want to mention is that I was looking a bit ahead, and why I won't shelter building so much is because of binding. Binding will give us the access to Slinger, which is an upgrade to our stone throwers. So this is kind of important for us because the stone throwers are all that we have, and they are all getting more and more experienced at this point. So getting additional boost to those will be great for us. So binding will come later, though. We need for that basketry, and for shelter building we need weaving and tool making. So I guess we might have to go oral tradition. I want the controlled fire because that gives a lot of boosts to culture and health. So I guess then we're gonna go with controlled fire. It should be kind of cheap. Then weaving, then I guess we would need basketry. Okay, and then shelter building and binding. I might have to check like the other things here if they're not. Like cooperation is really good, though that one kicks in after you actually start growing quite a lot because it helps with improvement building. There's the soft hammer percussion there, ritualism. Persistence hunting is also pretty good because we could get the chasers, and those are best early hunting units that you can get. So anyway, let's right now we know that we want oral tradition, so hands down that's that. We managed to keep all of our stone throwers intact, so we have 3 of them at this point. Not much luck in hunting though. You can see that this unit has just combat 1, this one has combat 2, but we got a random event that boosted our combat 3 stone throwers by giving them an additional boost of leadership. So that's something worth noting. So what's next? Well, we got we finished all of the buildings that gave us a boost to production. You can see that we got 14 now, and we are now turning to tube gatherer, grain gatherer, and all of these nice food boosting buildings. But as I mentioned, production first. So once we finished the tuber gatherer, so I thought it was tuber gatherer, okay. Tuber gatherer, we are going to add the stone tool maker, and I guess I'm going to add the nutcracking stone to the end. So it's going to go tuber gatherer, then we're going to turn to stone tool making, and then we're going to continue with grain gathering, berry gatherer, storage pit, ant catcher, and so on. I want to get the storage pit out of the way, though I might just postpone it because that one is useful only by storing some of your food after growth, which is not a little, considering we need, what, 4,000? Something like that? Where does it tell you that? Yeah, you need 4,389, so 5% of that is still way over 200, so it is useful. We have to have it before we start growing our city, but you know, it doesn't give us anything else, so we can just do it right before we grow. But don't forget, like, the storage pit is required for percussion instrument maker that we talked about, but I think that it mentioned that we also need alternation. We need prehistoric music, and I don't know when we get that one. That one might be a bit further down the aisle. Yeah, I don't even see it here. There's prehistoric. Okay. So it's right after oral tradition. Okay. So after oral tradition, you get prehistoric music, which would allow us to get the percussion instrument maker. It might be worth our while to go back there right after binding, because this building, you know, is a culture powerhouse, and while we don't need much of culture in the upcoming days, it would be kind of cool to expand the borders of the city. You can see that they're steadily expanding, but not at a great pace. Okay, and how long before you guys are done with the upgrade to... Okay, 24, and we're gonna get extra 2 there, right? Yep, okay, this tile is gonna be just awesome. Just a small update, the date is 169,147 BC, turn 201, and we have just started the work on Stone Tool Maker. Now I think I didn't show this in the previous update, so just for the clarity purposes, we're gonna get 1 extra industrial production, but 4.17 gold. So that is way better right off the bat. I'm not sure how the exact calculation works. It's always worth to check your buildings to see what the actual effects are going to be, because it adds on top of it all of the bonuses and maluses that the city has. So in this case, it's going to boost our research much, much more. Now you see that we're getting 7.2 because all of our income is going to research. So this is going to boost it, I think, pretty nicely. But again, the calculations are a bit fuzzy, and I'm not entirely... I don't calculate it myself. I just see what the game does and act accordingly. 14 more turns till we get the... Oh, actually 15 more turns till we get the seed camp here, giving us access to wheat, which will give us additional point of health. We are fine though, unless something horrible happens. So in 15 turns... Quite honestly, that's when the stone tool maker is going to come. So we're going to have 15 industrial production and 13 food. After which grain gatherer, berry gatherer, storage pit, ant catcher, grasshopper catcher, and termite catcher, and the nut cracking stone will come. All of the buildings that we have available. But we're going to shuffle that once oral tradition comes around. Other than that, nothing to report. We met the Israelites. But we're having a hard time hunting some animals, so not much in that depart. All of the units have still the same bonuses that we had before. Yeah, I'd still like to preserve this one the most though, because having combat free and leadership is pretty good. So they have a guaranteed upgrade to Slinger. I think it was Slinger, right? That's the... yeah, Slinger. So if we can save them and get them to Slinger, I will be very happy. Plus this would be a good defensive thing. It would be a good defensive unit for our cities. We'll phase them out from just running around here once we get the chasers up, but that's going to be a couple more decades, maybe hundreds of years, or maybe thousands or tens of thousands, because it's going to take just 27 more turns till we get oral tradition. So, just another quick update. Actually, only 3 turns after the last one, we managed to overpower a barbarian stone thrower, and I got captive out of that. I remember this is possible, but I did not expect that we would have that at any point, so early in the game. So I didn't really prepare for that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to send it escorted by the stone thrower back into the city, because this unit can be actually very useful. Yeah, I think that from what it is telling me below is that we can either hurry up a building in the city, or we can actually start culture cannibalism, which is fun. Now, cannibalism can give you a lot of good perks. I think that it increases food and happiness, maybe, which sounds weird, but it does. But eventually it turns into a huge malice. So I think at this point we might keep them just around and decide what to do with them later, because I don't think there's anything here that we would need to hurry up. I could maybe hurry up the storage pit eventually. I don't know how much bonus they give. It's not even telling me here. It's claiming that we can upgrade this unit to military or worker unit as well, or sacrifice it, but not entirely sure. We'll have to see once we transport it to the city, which is quite far away. It's 23 turns away. So we're gonna get it at the same time that oral tradition is going to come around, which is going to be fun. So we can do it all then in one update. Oral tradition and the captives utilization, I guess, would be the right way to put it. But yeah, pretty good job, Stonethrower. How are you on experience? 14.5 out of 17. Damn, they are quite close to getting another promotion. Combat 4 would give them additional 10%. Not much, now, but with the Slinger defensive bonuses and everything else on top, they will be pretty damn good. And again, not much luck with the others. You're still one more battle and you're up to 3. And you Same thing. So one more battle. Yeah, we really are not doing good as far as animals go. They're quick and they run away the moment they see us. Well, we are 1/3 away from oral tradition, and we have just about made the trip of our captive to the city. So we're gonna do it all at once. So let's see what oral tradition brings us.
Here, we tell the story. Why the people came here, what they did when they got here, going back to the Native Americans, and coming all the way forward.
Damn, I wonder what Grimmith is up to these days. I have to check his channel. Anyway, Storyteller, a new unit available for us, and a lot of extra buildings, most of which though will be inaccessible to us because they are based on your culture and prerequisite buildings. Best way to check it is actually to go ahead into the city and see for yourselves. But we're eligible for a revolution now. So let's check what we are revolutioning about. Education. We're moving from ignorance to oral tradition. Ignorance. Whatever knowledge or wisdom someone gained during their lives is lost once they die. The word ignorant is an adjective that describes a person in the state of being unaware and can describe individuals who deliberately ignore or disregard important information or facts, or individuals who are unaware of important information or facts. Ignorance can stifle learning, especially if the ignorant person believes it is not ignorant. Wow, seen that many times. A person who falsely believes it is knowledgeable does not try to clarify its beliefs, but rather relies on the ignorant position. It may also reject valid but contrary information, neither realizing its importance nor undertaking it. Another reason why people are not able to obtain knowledge is inaccessibility to education. In some parts of the world, educational infrastructure is insufficient and therefore people are not able to seek knowledge. The phenomenon can be observed widely in underdeveloped countries where many children either cannot afford to go to school or live too far from one. On the other hand, in developed countries, most children have access to K-12 education, but once they graduate high school, they encounter obstacles to pursue a higher education due to a higher cost. This lack of education can contribute to individuals not being able to practice critical thinking and seek for knowledge for themselves. Remaining in a state of ignorance can lead to serious economic downfalls, relationship crises, legal issues, and more. It is important for human survival to be knowledgeable on different topics. For example, one must be aware of ways to prevent certain diseases, avoid certain poisonous foods, avoid war, etc. So, as ignorant, we have extra happiness in all cities, but we are losing production of gold, research, and culture in all cities and in our capital. Wow, oral tradition actually lowers culture growth in all of the cities, much less in the capital, and we are no longer penalized for research at all. Plus, it gives us 20% faster construction of storytelling and knowledge inheritance school of scribes, 20% faster construction of library, lyceum, elementary school, and 20% faster construction of holographic schools. Interesting. Allows construction of creation myth and gives us 2 education per turn per city. Ignorance. Whatever knowledge... Oh wait, that's the original one. Oral tradition. Knowledge is transmitted to the next generation through the use of stories and songs. So I believe that's a step in the right direction. So let's do the revolution and look at the big picture regarding our research. Now there is a ton of things that we actually want. I have narrowed it down to a couple, but I still am not sure how we're gonna go about it. Now, one thing that is actually pretty good to mention is that weaving will give us an extra pretty damn good building if we have bamboo in the city vicinity, which we do. So this is kinda important. And for binding, we actually need both weaving, basketry, and then the shelter building and binding. So all of these technologies are pretty useful for us, with maybe the exception of the weaving, but I'm pretty sure that this is a prerequisite for other things. Though not entirely sure, but I think it gives bonuses as the technology is pretty good. But we also want the controlled fire, which would give us fire pit, which increases culture and health, but we don't really need it at this point. And quite a lot of my friends would say that going for persistence hunting as soon as possible would be good, because the chasers and master chasers will benefit us. So I'm not sure, but be it as it may, I think weaving will bring us quite a lot in the short run. It's only 45 turns, so we're gonna go with it and then we're gonna decide. I'm not, by the way, forgetting about counting. Getting the talistone and counting sticks is a pretty darn good thing, but that again requires trails, so we're moving around in circles. So let's start with weaving, and we will, decide later on based on our situation. So weaving is going, and we need to check what the city can now build. Quite a lot. Okay, so we have knowledge inheritance, extra research, and extra culture. You can see that we're already producing way more research after we built the stone tool maker. Do we have it? Yeah, okay, we have the stone tool maker. So knowledge inheritance would further boost it, and it would give us a boost to education. So that is a building that we need to get. And the culture will also come in handy. Then there's folklore fire. Folklore stone. Damn, these are all pretty good. Extra research from all of those, even though if it's only a negligible bonus. But it gives... No, it doesn't give education. We would need writing for that. And then there's folklore unicorn. Okay. So of all of these, I think the most valuable would be knowledge inheritance. So let's finish the berry gatherer, and after that I'm going to switch to knowledge inheritance. Yeah, we don't really need a storage pit. Let's put it at the end. So once we finish the berry gatherer, I'm gonna go with the knowledge inheritance. Then we can continue with these buildings and maybe occasionally throw in some of these. Though, together that's a hefty bonus to research. It's not something that we can completely disregard. Yeah, language is hurting it as far as research goes, but it gives extra culture, and then everything else gives bonuses. Well, we're gonna build it anyway once we don't have anything better to build, definitely. But knowledge inheritance is the important one here. So let's go with that one. And what about you guys? Let's check what you can do. Now, I'm pretty happy with our stone throwers. These guys are still at the previous skills level. But these guys made it up to the next one. They have combat 3 now, and the third unit has a combat 2. So all of them are actually getting pretty proficient at their job, and right now we're gonna get even more proof of that. Okay, so the hawk has withdrawn. Unfortunately, that means we're not gonna get him. And I guess you can continue this way and search the area. You can check up here and see what's gonna be over there. It's pretty good to be in the middle as we are. We have a rating of 9, 2 from population, 2 from land, 2 from technology, 3 from wonders. So that's actually something. Hey, we get another chance at hunting the eagles. Wow, there's a lot of them here. We're not hurt, so this should be fine. 97.49%. Should be a decent chance. And they've withdrawn. Are we getting experience? It looks like we are. Okay, weaving for the 3 more turns. And let's see what we can do with you. So I can set you free. That would give me 9-day food. We can eat you. Construct worldview cannibalism. Allow you to butcher human and Neanderthal captives for food. Yeah, I know that would be kind of interesting, but I don't want to do that. Or we can hurry construction. Or I guess I can just keep you here for now. We'll see if later on we might be able to join you into the city. Okay, let's try to finish you off, because otherwise we are... Yeah, okay, so we got the eagle. Okay, good for you, you got extra experience points. And you guys... Okay, you need to be careful. There is a solitary rhino and there's a stone thrower here. Yeah, and there's no way you can beat them. So let's send you back. Okay, so I think that's a solid update. We've done quite a lot. So, yeah. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode. And I'll see you in the next one, where we are going to continue the story of Byzantium. So far, so good, I think. So far, so good. Our next goal should be really to just boost the growth of food in Constantinople and have it grow to population 2, after which we can start thinking about expansion. So, see you next time.